What is going on, Sports Game Vision world? We are now listening to the sounds of the No Face Sports Show. I'm your host, Hank, Sports Game Vision. We're back in the building, as you can see here, the No Face Sports Show. That you see the graphic here, put it in the building. The No Face Sports Show here, Sports Game Vision. Talking behind the mic about some sports and things. And today's topics, we got Chris Paul, we got Giannis, we got the whole Netflix Discovery Brothers deal that popped off today. We're just gonna touch on it, give some thoughts and opinions, views and topics, views and information. Jump in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share the video, and we're going to jump right into it, guys. We had some technical difficulty earlier. If you were on here, had to redo some things and get some stuff straightened out. A one-man band. It's all right. I'm like Swiss Beats, but we're going to keep it going here. Giannis Antetokounmpo, the two-time MVP, and I know I probably butchered the last name, but it's okay. Giannis love me. I know he love me. But anyhow, we're seeing Giannis push his weight around. The Bucks started out pretty good this year. Started out with a great record, looking like they were going to take spot in that number one spot in the Eastern Conference. Boston is down a little bit this year. We know Jason Tatum is out. They traded Kristaps Porzingis. They traded Drew Holiday. They revamped the team a little bit because of Tatum's injury, and we know that salary is a very, very big part of the game now. Those Abrams, and if they feel like they're not going to win, they're not going to pay all that money. So they made those trades and readjusted. They did get I forgot the guy from Portland out there, Shaden. I believe Shea, I forgot his name, but yeah, he's out there. They traded for him in Boston, and they're actually pretty decent considering the injury and trades. But Milwaukee was supposed to take over and be that team, and they haven't really done it. They faltered. They fell way behind in the standings. I know they got a big win over my Pistons earlier, but they're not in the number one position like they want to be. So Giannis is pushing his weight now. And we've seen this turnaround a few years ago. If you guys really think about it, it happened during the All-Star. Remember, Giannis would always lose to Team LeBron. Then he switched it up, started drafting guys that he felt could, counteract LeBron and make his team a winner. It wasn't just his favorite players and, representing the other side of the world. No, he wanted the best people to beat Bron, and I believe they won too that year. Same year, I believe that was with Jokic got picked in the last pick, but it was a change. Even LeBron called it out, and even during that time, you start seeing once Middleton got hurt, he got traded, and then Dame was brought in. Drew was shipped out. You start seeing some changes, and if you think that Giannis didn't have any doing in that, then you got to be crazy. He's the top player, the number one guy. They want to keep him there, want to keep him happy, and he made some of those decisions to say, hey, go trade this and bring these people in, and they've gave up a lot of assets to try to get another one of these. He got a taste. He got to get a good sweet taste of that winning feeling, being a champion, the MVP. I'm sure the money was stronger, the endorsements were stronger, and he wants to do that again. It's different if he'd have went the whole career and never won. I think the urgency, especially with the MVPs, would have been I gotta win, but also the hometown feeling of staying there and building and winning would have been still where I don't think he would push his weight around. Maybe he'd want to leave through free agency, but now he's forcing them to make adjustments because he's won a championship and he knows what it feels like. He knows what it comes with. The big thing is now, if he decides he really wants to leave, you're the guy there. You're the franchise guy. You're the number one guy. He is getting older now. He's still in his prime, but you go to another team, you're not necessarily guaranteed to have that top slot. There's a few teams obviously will pull this up here with the New York Knicks, where he said he wanted to go. Rumors that they said in the offseason, he go there, wins a championship. It'll sort of be like Kawhi Leonard, winning the championship in Toronto. I think he'll forever be loved. But if he goes to some of these other destinations, it's going to be a little bit tougher. Even the whole San Antonio deal with Wemby. Wemby is the guy, the future. And I don't know how much of his weight he can push around. Especially they got the shooting guard, De'Aaron Fox. He's a star in his own right too. So just going there and pushing weight around, even being the MVP is going to be a little bit more difficult than just staying in Milwaukee, finding a way to, some way to make deals to bring more talent in. But of course, when you're getting older, the clock is ticking. And the resume wise, he probably wants to get that other championship. It does separate him when we talk about GOAT debates and where you're at and all-time lists. I like to now, because I don't like arguing with people. It's annoying, especially when the fanatic comes out in you and you really just going at each other. You get personal or whatever. But the fan in me just, hey, he's in this group. They're in that group. They're in the GOAT room, the GOAT house. He's in the GOAT positions, wherever you want to put him at: center, power forward, small forward, point guard, not shooting guard, point guard. You know, he wants more on his resume, and another championship would do something great for him. He took away a championship from the person that we're going to talk about next. But just to sweeten it all out, I would like to see Giannis stay in Milwaukee, but there's a big chance, obviously, that he's not going to stay there. He wants that championship and possibly more money in bigger markets like a New York or wherever else he might try to go. Maybe he wants that as well. Money is money, no matter how much he has. You want more of it, especially when you got to pay those taxes. But here at the Sports Games, Sports Game Vision, No Face Sports Show, we going to touch on that championship that he took away from someone else. And that guy, Chris Paul. That was a very, very shocking event that happened, a few days ago. We see that he was sent home from the Los Angeles Clippers after a very, very, exciting signing for the offseason. I thought it was cool. He's the guy that helped change the organization. The league messed it up for him in the sense of going to the other LA team, which was the Lakers. And he was supposed to go there with Kobe, and Kobe was still in his prime at the time. So was Chris Paul, but he played for the Hornets. The league owned the Hornets. They blocked the deal. It was a lot of owners like Mark Cuban complaining that Lakers deal was crazy and it was unfair. So they made the move to trade him to the Clippers, which in hindsight was a great deal for the league and organization. Not necessarily all the way from Chris Paul, because I do think he probably get one of them things if he was with the Lakers, because Kobe high motor, him high motor. Only thing you got to worry about with Chris Paul, obviously, with him was the injuries. Forget about personality and how tough he is on people and relationships. He's always had that strange injury bug, but maybe that wouldn't have been the case with the Lakers. We don't know, but talent-wise, him and Kobe together, they definitely probably try to get one of them things. And all they would need was a pretty good supporting cast, and I think they would have a shot at winning one. But either way, he changed the organization with the Clippers from the laughing stock to a team that was looked at should have won a championship over there. They were in the same group with young Golden State Warriors, and the Golden State Warriors took it from them and went on to win, became a dynasty where the Clippers should have probably got one championship at least out of that group. You had CP and Matt Barnes and JJ Redick and Jamal Crawford. Lamar Odom came over there. Who else came over with that team? Of course, DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin. They had a heck of a squad, man. And I'm not naming all the people. I believe Eric Gordon was on that team. Pat Beverly was in there in some of that run. They had a deep, deep team. They just couldn't get it done. Of course, Austin Rivers, who they complained about, but I don't think Austin was a bad player. They just messed up. He messed up the dynamic of the team per se, with Doc Rivers being Doc Rivers' son, and I don't think those players liked it like that. If you hear them talk about it on the podcast, but either way, he came home this signing this offseason. Great deal. Heartfelt. It looks like it's going to be the place he's going to retire, and then they send him home because of beef between players and coaches and front office. And let's look at all the teams that he's played for. The Hornets and the Clippers and the Rockets and the Thunder and the Suns and Golden State, and of course last year the Spurs, where he broke some of those records, steals and assists and all-time leaders. A lot of people have all time. He's definitely deserved to be in the conversation because he's had a great career, and everywhere he's went, they've won games, which is important. We know we want the championships. We know we want the conference championships, NBA finals, all that stuff. But you have to have a winning culture too. And he always did that wherever he went. Later years, obviously he's older. It's harder for him to do that. He's not able to impose his will like he used to, but great player. The stats say so. He's just missing one thing. And hopefully he'll be able to do that. But right now, buyer beware. When the Clippers signed him this off season, you knew who Chris Paul was. He played for the organization before. Any player that's talked about him has said this. If we look at the Golden State Warriors there, him and Draymond, when they got him, and that was it the trade or whatever, Draymond still didn't like him, and they had to broker that relationship over the summer with the Clutch and LeBron and all them other players that they're mutual friendships with, so that they could be okay. And of course, in the end of the day, they worked it out. He had a good season with Golden State, but he's boisterous. JJ Redick said it. He didn't like him either until he became a teammate and seeing how he worked and what he was after. He put a lot of thought and pressure on people to perform at the highest. And he has he also has the trash talking and stuff to get in your head. But that's a game beyond the game. Are you mentally strong to deal with things when the pressure's on you? And Chris, I believe he is. He just never obviously was able to get to the ultimate goal, but he definitely hits a lot of clutch shots. He's a clutch player. When you talk about, all time and putting the ball in his hands, he's got game winners, in clutch time. He scored a lot and helped teams. So he knows what to do. It's just, personality. He rubs people, a certain way. Now that he's older, and he's not at the same level, is, made people upset. There has been videos of, Tyronn Lue saying things about Paul, I guess, earlier in the season. We don't know what that situation was before he got there. Tyronn Lue was a player, of course, assistant and head coach. They've got history before he got there. And of course, the bigger thing was James Harden is there. And he had issues in Houston with James. So it's like, did you guys smooth out any of those relationships before you signed him? Even though he's a legend, even though he's going to get his jersey retired with Clippers, more than likely, you needed to smooth those relationships and give the expectations out of what they needed from him for the whole season. And we don't know if that was done, but from the way this has happened, it doesn't seem like it was, or it wasn't made ultimately apparent. And now he's released, a legend, not released, sent home. They have until the 15th. That's when they can start making some moves and see what they want to do with him. He wants to play. That information has been brought out, and it'll be great if he can go back here. He was, traded there a few years back, several years back. Everyone thought they were going to tank. He got that team to the playoffs with a young Shea, and OKC, Oklahoma loves him. The organization likes him. The players like him. And of course, remember, I forgot. Okay, the Hornets had played in OKC, like almost like the OKC Hornets, for a minute before the Thunder got there. So he's beloved out there, and to see him go there and possibly get a championship, hopefully the Thunder can make some type of deal or open up a roster spot, and then their favor to win the championship again. You know how I feel on this channel. You got to beat the champion to become the champion. Whether they lose first, second, third, fourth round, which is the finals, you got to beat them. And of course, they're barely in their prime yet. Shea, I don't feel like he's in his prime all the way yet. He's going to get even better. And of course, all the other guys are super young and they're going to be working through their prime. Holmgren and Jalen, all of them are working to get better and better. And they're young and they're on the pace to win 70 plus games this year. So to add in CP, I know people look at it like, oh man, he just on the bandwagon for it, man. A championship's a championship, and throughout all the hard work and sacrifices that he's put in his career, it will be great to get that, especially for an organization he's played for and puts blood, sweat, and tears for. So we'll see what happens in a few weeks. But it's shocking to see a guy like that, and all of our greats seem to go through this tough time in the end. You think about Allen Iverson, you think about Carmelo, you think about some of the other guys. Shoot, Boogie Cousins, I know he's on a podcast now. His teammate John Wall, just a whole bunch of guys that have tough exits in the end of their career, and you hate to see that. And hopefully this gets smoothed out. We're seeing LeBron, him, KD, Harden, Russ, Steph, all of them in that final tier of their career. Put Clay and Draymond on there as well. You want to see them go out, on their own terms and in a good way. Obviously, you have to adjust to who you are now as a player, but you should get your respect as well. They put in a lot of work. So we shall see what happens here. Let me know what you think in the comment section about these, two situations between Giannis and CP3. And just to bring Giannis back into this, he stole that championship away from CP. CP3 was up 2-0, and it was in his hands. And as Kobe he would say, job not done, job not finished. And he snatched it away. So for him to go and rectify that in a lot of ways with OKC, he got his guys with him. It will be awesome to see. But again, let me know what you think. And it's a tough situation to see. I don't like it. I wish he would have been able to really stay and go, the Clippers. But if he would get to OKC or something, yeah, it's going to be a big deal. But here we are, the tail end of this show, No Face Sports Show, Sports Game Vision. You are now listening to the sounds. Make sure you definitely hit the like button, heart button, whatever it is to like this show. And of course, subscribe to any of the platforms we're on right now and to join and share. We're going to be bringing more shows to you, but we're going to talk about something right now that affects all of us. We're all fans of entertainment. Obviously, my show is entertainment, but the other entertainment that we all in our spare time watch. Netflix is just acquired Warner Brothers Discovery in an $82.7 billion deal. Now, this has been floating out there for quite a while now, and Netflix was able to get the deal together and get accepted. This makes them 33% of the market share streaming up, I believe, with this deal. What's included is HBO Max, the streaming service, and all the streaming products. They have the rights to DC Universe, to Harry Potter, and a few other IPs that I can't remember off the top of my head. But remember, they had, the rights to Disney's Marvel Universe for a while, and then they went on and introduced Disney Plus. And also, they had DC on Netflix, and I think they still do. That's how I became a fan of the Green Arrow and Flash. Not I was a fan of Flash before, but I mean the new shows like Green Arrow was really good. Flash was really good. Um, they had another one too that was pretty good. They had Supergirl and Legends. I forgot the other show. They had quite a few shows that was on CW. They canceled a lot of those shows, so now Netflix can bring those IPs back and probably reintroduce them, sort of like Disney is doing with Daredevil, which used to be on Netflix. But yeah, I mean, as far as the deal is concerned, it's big business. I mean, Amazon bought MGM, and you know, what is it? No, sorry, not Paramount. Amazon bought MGM. Paramount bought Skydance, and they got Paramount is a big company already. They have CBS and Showtime and BET and all that stuff on there. Um, so they're putting a bid in. They put a bid in. They also put in, like I believe, like a lawsuit in to try to block this deal. But big business is big business. It's great for business, but for us, the paying customer, not so good. I started out with Netflix at $6.99 a month back in the day, and they never grandfather stuff in. They always made you pay up. They For a while they let the multiple streams go out and you can share your password. They stopped that. And now everybody, I think the top package is like almost 20 something, or $23 a month. It's gonna go up for us. The $6.99 is right now $7.99. That's probably gonna go up to $8.99 to $10.99 with this deal with Warner Brothers Discovery. More in our pockets, more out of our pockets. Not great for us. If you think about it, as far as the consumer is concerned, if you're actually getting these apps, you're probably paying just as much or more than you did when we had the TV boxes. These companies have found a way to get in our pocket even more. Was Streaming was really made for us to kind of save and cut the cord and go against corporate right America, so to speak. But if you're a sports fan, besides doing it sideways, it's always going to be a black market, y'all. Come on. They was bootlegging vinyl back in the day, tape, CDs, all that stuff. And even like I said, the streaming was made so you can bypass all this stuff. There's always going to be a black market, but if you're doing it legitimately, um, especially with sports, it's they're on all these platforms now. Netflix has WWE and now AEW with their streaming rights, and then you've got Amazon, what they got basketball and football, and so does Peacock, which is NBC. They've got basketball, football, college, all that. Hulu, Disney, all of them got sports, and in order for you to see all this stuff, you've got to subscribe to it. So it's going to hit us up. You have to pick and choose, or if you got the big pockets, you have to get all of them. But it's tough for us, the consumer. You're going to get limited access on things as well. Even I just talked about the DC universe. They may not release things. They may suppress things. Especially if it's on HBO Max now. You can watch it. They might take it away. It's all that kind of things that we love. We wish we could have at our access. It might be taken away, especially when you think about the WWE. And how they separated everything. I'm a wrestling fan on here. Remember, we had the WWE app and everything was on there that they owned. Everything. They brought it. They were even bringing in their own programming from, other companies. Remember, they before they bought Evolve, they had them on there, broadcasting their shows. Then they were producing their own television shows along with the library that some of it you get on YouTube now, but you had access to everything. Go back and watch all the pay-per-views, all the shows. Then they sold everything and suppressed things. So it's going to be tough for the consumer. And of course, with theatrical releases for movies, when they started buying up things, they stopped releasing movies and you go straight to their platforms. So it's tough on the theaters. People still go out. They still go outside. So we need content out there as well. But yeah, there's one last hurdle for this. No deal closes right away. The government has to approve everything, make sure it's not monopoly, blah, blah, blah. We already know Trump and his administration really wanted Paramount Skydance to get that deal, and they're trying to go, fight this deal with Netflix so they don't get it. But more than likely, it will go through, and it's going to take a while, months to a year or so, and then it'll be finalized. But as of right now, Warner Brothers and Netflix have brokered that deal, and we're going to have to pay out of our pocket. So what do you guys think about it? Let me know what you think about here in the Sports Game Vision No Face Sports Show. What you think about that deal? Again, it's entertainment, but it's also sports. So it's going to affect all of us, from NBA, NHL, soccer, MLB, MMA, boxing. All of that gets affected by these type of deals. And Netflix has boxing. We're gonna what is it? In a few weeks, they're gonna try to do that Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. Alicia Baumgartner's on that card as well, I believe. So let's see, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section about everything. Please like the video, heart the video, share the video, subscribe. We will be back again. Sports Game Vision. I'm your host, Hank. No Face Sports Show. We out. Peace.